Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring exactly how a tarot reading balances cold, hard logic with fluid, creative empathy by breaking down a really fascinating visit to a parlor called The Otherside. You know, a lot of the time, we think of intuition and structure as total opposites, right? But as we're going to see, a highly structured environment can actually create the perfect container for a profound creative breakthrough. Let's get into it. Take a look at this quote from our focal case study, Jimmy. Too much structure can stifle the magic. It's a fantastic setup for our core question today. I mean, how exactly do we balance rigid logic with our creative fire? When you're trying to put something really powerful out into the world, when does your own analytical mind actually become your biggest roadblock? That is precisely the hurdle Jimmy is facing when he walks through the door. Section 1. Welcome to the other side, the practitioner and the parlor. We really need to establish the specific environment where this transformative $40 reading takes place, because understanding the physical space and the person guiding it is absolutely crucial to understanding why it works so well. So our practitioner is Lucretia Eddy. Most people just call her Lucy. She was born back in the U.S. bicentennial year, 1976. Fast forward to college around 95, and she's already reading tarot. Her friends very quickly recognized her uncanny clairvoyant abilities. Her advice was just incredibly spot on, way before she officially opened her shop on Woodmere Street and 12th Avenue in 2020. So she is bringing decades of highly refined intuition to the table here. But here's the real kicker. Lucy operates on a highly structured business model. We're talking strict fixed hours from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., exact one-hour sessions, and a very exclusive dedicated reading room. And amazingly, her setup includes a massive black cat named Casey. He's actually named after the famous seer Edgar Cayce, and honestly, the cat seemingly possesses his own perceptive abilities. But this rigid structure, it provides a very grounded, safe reality, so the mind can actually feel free to explore the abstract. And then there's the fee, $40. Period. Keep this exact $40 figure in the back of your mind as we go, because Lucy's strict adherence to this exact amount becomes a wonderful testament to her professional boundaries later on. It is essentially an earthly anchor to a very mystical process. Picture this. Jimmy walks in for his 12 o'clock appointment and steps into this perfectly square 12 by 12 sanctuary. Notice the heavy sensory details here. You've got the dark green carpet, a black tablecloth, a crystal ball, a silver tray, and a single lit candle sitting in a rose quartz holder. This isn't just random spooky decoration. She's intentionally shifting the atmosphere to signal to Jimmy's brain that it is time to leave the mundane world at the door. This is the precise space where Lucy locks her spiritual assemblage point right into the source. All right, section 2, the reading ritual, preparing the cards. Lucy reaches over, flips an antique hourglass to kick off the one-hour session using her 78-card deck, and the ritual officially begins. Now, they use what's called the fishbowl method, which is brilliant. It's a tactile three-step process. First, Jimmy places his fingers on the deck and makes a silent wish to learn something of real value. Step 2, Lucy scatters the cards face down. Actually, scratch that. They aren't in a neat stack. She scatters them loosely across the table. Finally, step 3, Jimmy picks 3 cards entirely by pure intuition. The whole point is to completely bypass his overthinking brain and let his intuition automatically guide his hand. Which brings us to section 3, the 3-card spread, situation, obstacle, and advice. Lucy really leans on this spread because, honestly, it keeps the path forward incredibly straightforward. By cutting through the noise and focusing purely on those 3 elements, she built a clear, actionable narrative for him. Card number 1 drops, the situation. It's the Queen of Wands. Now, this card perfectly validates Jimmy's current reality. It represents channeling a massive wave of creative energy, passion, and a fiery drive that demands total focus. And Jimmy immediately confirms this. He is just brimming with this intense creative energy, pushing him to make something powerful. Now, here is the core thematic clash of the whole reading. Over on the left side, the obstacle is the King of Swords. Think overthinking, a rigid mindset, pure cold logic. But on the right, the advice is the Queen of Cups. This is telling him to lead with intuition, deep emotion, and creative empathy. So Jimmy's got this massive challenge. He has to fight the rigid, cold logic of the King of Swords by tapping into the soulful, fluid empathy of the Queen of Cups. He literally has to balance water with fire. And Jimmy gets it. He has this profound realization right there at the table. Fight rigid thinking with pure, intuitive feeling. Boom! He hit the nail on the head. It's just a brilliant summary of his creative block. You simply cannot logic your way out of a creative drought, you know? You have to feel your way out of it. Let's move to section 4, the clarifier and conclusion, validating the intuitive path. Because these elemental forces are clashing so hard in this reading, Lucy offers him a fourth card, a clarifier to reveal the ultimate outcome if he actually chooses intuition over logic. It is always up to the client, but Jimmy enthusiastically goes for it. And what does he pull? The Nine of Cups, traditionally known in tarot as the wish card. It signifies emotional satisfaction, success, and a deep sense of personal accomplishment. This is ultimate artistic validation for Jimmy. The cards are essentially promising him the highest reward, but only if he can just let go of his over-analytical tendencies. As the hour wraps up, you get these fantastic, almost cinematic little character details unfolding. The sand perfectly empties in the antique hourglass. Casey the cat literally hops onto the table, taps the Nine of Cups with his paw, and starts purring like he's giving his official stamp of approval. Jimmy is so moved by all of this that he actually tries to tip an extra $5 for that clarifier card. But remember that boundary we talked about? Lucy politely refuses the tip. She strictly enforces her fixed price of $40. No more, no less. As Jimmy heads out into the bright afternoon sun, Lucy leaves him with this absolutely perfect parting thought. The music is always there, Jimmy. You just have to tune in. What a great reminder. The magic isn't something you can force into existence by overthinking it. It is a frequency you have to align yourself with through intuition. So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to bounce that right back to you to ponder on in your own life and creative pursuits. Are you letting cold logic stifle your own inner rhythm? Next time you find yourself totally stuck, overanalyzing every tiny detail, ask yourself, are you acting like the King of Swords when you really need to be embracing the Queen of Cups? Take a breath, trust your gut, and let the magic flow. Thanks for joining me today.